So one of the questions I always get was about, excuse me, about depression. Here's my thought on this, is that especially what I did for the last 15 years, my previous job, the majority of everybody that was able to handle stress and depression, no matter what's going on in your life, personal, professional, had one thing in common: that conquered depression, that overrode depression, and that eliminated depression. And that was training, and that was heavy training. I'm not talking about powerlifting, but it was getting up at an uncomfortable time during the day at 4 o'clock in the morning, or going into the gym very late at 11 o'clock at night. Something that was constantly taking everything that you had that day and you set it on the table, and it was like it's like a meat cleaver, and it's all there: your anger, your depression, your frustration, your highs, your lows, and you just chop it and chop it and chop it and chop it and chop it. They all had this one thing in common, and that was training. And when I mean heavy training, if you can lift 500 pounds, then you do 520. If you can lift 50 pounds, you would try and do 51 pounds. It wasn't about trying to hurt yourself. It was about going out there and thinking of everything today that happened, good or bad, and you use that, and you just beat it senseless nonstop. That was what was the number one thing for everybody that we worked with. And it still applies today even more so. The one common factor that I've known when people talk to me about depression all the time that they have in common is one thing: they don't do that. They just don't train. They allow their mind to override what has to happen. So I say, if you're really trapped in these situations, and I know a lot of people are, and it's difficult for them, and I understand that, but the way out, in my opinion, and everything that we've done over all these years, working with some of the most elite forces around the globe, the amount of stress they have to deal with personally and professionally, you couldn't imagine that. Take what you have now and multiply it times 10, unless you're sick, that's different. But otherwise, if you're, let's just say, normally healthy, and the mental thing is creeping up to you, mission creep, then yes, that could be an amazing answer for you. And remember, it doesn't take a lot, and it's not as hard as you think. And I'll tell you one more thing too: having somebody that's bigger, meaner, and angry, and probably doesn't like you and wants to see you fail, go ask them to help you train, because they'll do everything in your power, their power, not to have you train. Life is crazy. But that's one of the best solutions I can say. And when people come back to me, and the ones that have started training heavy and hard at the latest nights or latest days, latest hours, you can tell I was up at 4 this morning, or at late, their mind, their body, their face, everything has changed. The ones that don't, identical. It's like throwing a hamburger on the grill, but you never lit it. You can't expect it to taste good. It takes time. So, you're not alone, but remember, nobody can do it for you, and it's not as difficult as you think. Go do it.